In what amounts to just a day that ends in Y, you have people involved with Star Wars and Disney and Marvel coming out calling the fandom toxic. Why? Because they have a negative opinion of dear old Kathleen Kennedy. In this article from Direct, Star Wars producer calls out toxic fandom because, it's a day. Toxic fandom for attacking Kathleen Kennedy. Oh my goodness, the woman who can do no wrong, the woman that says the Force is female, the woman who is pretty much responsible for tanking the Star Wars franchise, taking the golden goose and cooking it for Thanksgiving dinner. As Lucasfilm president, Kathleen Kennedy, who needs to go away quick, fast, and in a hurry, works to juggle upcoming Star Wars slate and likely cancel one after another, after announcing so many projects, along with toxic comments from fans. Yes, people don't like her. They've taken a beloved franchise and run it into the ground. The Disney trilogy went from $2.5 billion to $2 billion to 1.3 to $1 billion over the course of 3 movies. That is a failure. Sure, the movies made money based on their budget, but you lose half of your audience from the first movie to the third movie. That should tell everyone everything they need to know. And then comes along with The Mandalorian from season 1 to season 3. You losing half your audience again and again and again. Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus pushed fans away, and this is all at the helm of Kathleen Kennedy at the helm. Anyway, I think y'all should be used to my inability to learn from Hooked on Phonics by now. I'll get better. My brain's going to work. There's some malfunctioning between my brain and my mouth. Well, let's get on with the article. Star Wars has been oh, here we fucking go again. Star Wars has been no stranger to toxic comments from fans, as many saw most recently with Rose Tico actress Kelly Marie Tran. People didn't like Rose Tico. Oh no. Who left social media altogether. You're going to hear different reports as to why she left, but since this is a Disney show website, it's going to be because of the toxic fans. Meanwhile, there have also been rumors circulating regarding Kathleen Kennedy potentially being let go from Lucasfilm job. Those rumors have been going on for 4 years now. She's still there. She's not going anywhere. She's not leaving until she wants to. All while franchise looks to get back on its feet in terms of big screen movies. If you're talking about another Rey Palpatine trilogy, I can't say it. I can't call her that. Rey Palpatine, or should be Mary Sue Palpatine. You put her in a movie, and that is going to ultimately have the final nails on the Star Wars coffin that Disney built themselves. Kathleen Kennedy built herself, and slowly pour in the dirt to a beloved franchise. But thankfully, we still have the movies, the original trilogy, even the prequel trilogy. When you have Disney Star Wars making people enjoy the prequel trilogy more and more with each passing year, you've done a phenomenal job with tanking a franchise. Let's see what this has to say. Speaking with Deadline, Andor head writer-producer Tony Gilroy addressed the toxicity he sees from fans towards Star Wars president Kathleen Kennedy. So you just had to come up out of the woodworks. People who watched Andor enjoyed Andor. So why on earth would you start coming out and running your mouth about their disdain for Kathleen Kennedy? People enjoyed what you did, Tony Gilroy. I enjoyed it. It was a fantastic series. I can't wait for season 2. But you want to come out and start flapping your gums because did somebody send you the memo to get it done? Looking at the comments that Kennedy sees every day because people hate her. She's the toxic one. She's a pestilent boil on Star Wars. Gilroy was shocked by what he saw happening during his work on Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Quote, it was shocking on Rogue One because I didn't really have any exposure when Rogue happened and everything that happened because people enjoyed Rogue One. It was good. And then Solo came out and that was a dumpster fire of trash. I was really blown back by what was going on. And this What? And this I hadn't paid attention to. So I knew about it when I came back. I knew what to expect. I seriously doubt you got any sort of hateful messages outside of the normal shit you get on the internet for Andor. What? Or Rogue One. Star Wars fans enjoyed those shows, even the ones that can't stand what Kathleen Kennedy has done. He understands the passion that the fandom community shows for Star Wars. Well, obviously you don't. People who are passionate are going to voice their opinion in whatever way, shape, and form they see fit. And if they see Kathleen Kennedy as the perpetrator of the destruction of Star Wars, they're going to direct it at her. Quote, I need to stop smacking my lips. Good Lord, I'm doing it again. You have to realize about that community, that their passion. They love this thing so much. The hardcore, deepest you have within the community of Shiites and what the hell is you bringing this up for? In the community that of Shiites, Sunnis, and Kurds, and you have all kinds of people who have different, but their love of the show and the love of what it means to them is something that you really have to pay attention to. I don't even know what that tried to say. Let me try this again. You have to realize that the community, you have to realize about that community, that their passion, they love this thing so much. The hardcore, deepest you have within the community, within that community of Sunnis. Okay, we're just going to move on because that didn't make any sense. Why are you bringing up Shiites, Sunnis, and Kurds when we're talking about the Star Wars universe? Their love of the show and the love of what it means to them is something that you really have to pay attention to. Okay, now that line made sense right there because that is definitely something that Disney and current-day Lucasfilms and Kathleen Kennedy at the helm are not paying attention to. Gilroy's main focus when developing his material is to, quote, never ever be cynical about it. Here's an idea. Stop calling the fans hateful. Stop calling them racist. Stop calling them bigots. Write good shit and let people judge it for themselves. Don't come out and talk about how you prepared Moses Ingram for the hate she was going to get online. So automatically she responds to criticism as being racist, as being rooted in racism. Her performance was piss poor. Her character was nonsensical and useless. It did not need to be in the show. Hell, the show didn't have to be in the show. So my attitude has been, and the attitude of the show is, as much as as far out there as we get, and as much as we bend the tone and the idea, we can never, ever be cynical about it. We have to make it more seriously than anybody's ever taken it. We're never winking. We are never kidding it. I think what he's trying to say is we're not trying to make a Star Wars story that's a joke. We're not trying to put comedy in it like they did to Finn in the Last Jedi. They turned Finn into a joke. He was a serious character in The Force Awakens with huge avenues, huge prospects, lots of fan theories going around, and they turned him into a joke. Thankfully, it looks like with Andor, they're not putting the comedy, they're not putting in the jokes. They're making a serious Star Wars story. And that's a good thing. Do that. The show features, quote, a mix of people who aren't familiar with Star Wars, along with die-hard fans, explaining that the, quote, marriage of knowledge and history combines with a desire to take the story somewhere good. Oh my goodness, we're going to move on from that because I'm having lots of difficulty understanding his quotes. Taking things back to Kennedy, he made it clear that he doesn't envy the job she has to do, considering all the comments she sees all over the internet. If you honestly think she sees any of these comments, you're as delusional as she is. You might take the time, but Kathleen Kennedy could not be fucked to pay attention to anything on Twitter, because if she did, she would see the fans calling out her bullshit, voicing their opinion, and asking her to maybe go in a different route. Oh, toxic fans called out for personal comments. Oh my goodness. Although there's article, my brain hiccuped there. I was about to say the article continues, although there is always room for constructive criticism in the Star Wars universe. No, there isn't, because every bit of constructive criticism that anybody puts forth towards the Star Wars universe, towards Lucasfilms and Kathleen Kennedy, is squashed as bigotry. Every last bit of it. If you have an opinion on Moses Ingram's character of Reva, oh, you're a racist because you don't think a black woman can hold a role in Star Wars. That's not what anybody says. They criticize the character and the writing of her character. But automatically it's deemed as racist. If you criticize Rey and her abilities and deeming her a Mary Sue, well, you're just a filthy misogynist and can't stand to have a woman in power in a movie. Fuck off. She was a poorly written character, just like Reva. While it is unclear whether Kennedy will actually remain at Lucasfilm, she will until she decides to retire. Gilroy noted that she has all the support that she could ask for from the inside, from fellow writers and directors. Oh, as fellow writers and directors stand by her side. Yes, because if they don't stand by her side, they will be cast aside. Any disagreement that is had with the goddess Kathleen Kennedy, they are shown the door. How many different directors were given for Solo because there were disagreements on set? How many different Star Wars projects were pushed to the side or canceled outright because of disagreements behind the scenes? Because if you disagree with the direction Kathleen Kennedy wants to go, you're gone. So you're nothing more than a yes man or a yes woman. Currently, the Lucasfilm president is in the middle of rearranging and destroying the entire theatrical side of Star Wars, which reportedly is at the start of a 5-year plan because they're just not done destroying it. To get back to the same glory it saw years ago. It will never get back to that glory because Kathleen Kennedy and Disney will still be in charge in 5 years. And as the new slate develops, Kennedy continues to stand at the forefront, hyping up everything because the Force is female. Everything she hypes up, no one's interested in. People are tired. Ahsoka, maybe people will be interested in. Will it get the ratings it needs to be a success? Once again, a producer comes out calling out the toxic fans. People are getting tired of being called toxic for having an opinion. They're done with it. More and more of your average normie fans are turning their backs on Disney Star Wars because it's not Star Wars. It's Disney. It's Disney Marvel. It's Disney Star Wars. And it's being overloaded with nonsensical ideological messages, preaching and harping the same thing over and over again, building up their female characters at the expense of their male characters. Stop doing that. If you want to build up the character, male or female, simply build up the character. How about we do that? Promote both characters, male and female, black, white, whatever, brown. Build them all up. Let them work together to succeed. It's something that Disney used to do. They used to be good at. But they've lost their way. I don't know what it's going to take to get their head out of their ass to start making money again, but we'll have to see. If they keep calling the fans toxic for having an opinions, I don't see a financially profitable end in sight. But the hell do I know? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a dislike. Have a good one. See you on the next one.